Your boy started off alive and not even sitting in here. That's how I know it's just going downhill. But hey, shout out to everybody who tuned in and joining tonight because it's a recap where we're going to take a deeper dive into a case that we always already talked about. Um, I had to run up here. Let me get a little bit of water. But hey, before we start, yo, if anybody is in an area affected by all the crazy weather down south, hey, God bless y'all. Hope y'all safe. Hope y'all people and family safe. Cause I looked on the news and that shit is crazy. So I just wanted to say that before we got started. I'm looking for something. Hold up. Oh, I gotta move something. Hold up. I gotta let's see, get this thing situated. There we go. All right, there we go. That's better. All right, my bad. This is just going downhill. Hey, as always, I'm Marcus. Here we talk attorney reactions to current events, trending news, finance content, all of that good stuff. Always toss out a disclaimer: licensed attorney, not legal financial advice, just infotainment purpose as I give my opinion and takes on topics. Now, today we're going to jump into former judge, ex Assistant District Attorney Stuart Rosenwasser. Before we dive in, let's go ahead and watch a recap video. It's like a couple minutes long so we can know how it ends. Then we're going to take a deep dive into this indictment. And this actually might be one of the worst. I actually didn't read the indictment, but just hearing a news article, it may be one of the worst bribery cases I ever seen. And not even talking about the dollar amount. But let's go ahead, cue up the video so we can see how it ends, get a general idea of what was going on before we take a look at the actual indictment.
Sources are telling us a retired judge died by suicide as FBI agents arrived to arrest him today in Orange County.
This all unfolded this morning at the judge's home in Campbell Hall. Zinnia Maldonado is there with more. Maurice and Christine, this is a quiet condominium complex here along Route 416 that quickly turned into a chaotic scene Tuesday morning when the FBI showed up to arrest a former county court judge. A big police response was seen at the Blackburn Homes complex, where police sources tell CBS News New York Stuart Rosenwasser shot and killed himself when FBI agents tried to execute an arrest warrant at his home. According to an indictment, Rosenwasser was accused of taking approximately $63,000 in bribes to leverage his position in the district attorney's office to investigate two individuals. Court documents allege Rosenwasser accepted bribes from a man named Mount Sudani to investigate two of Sudani's relatives. It further alleges that Rosenwasser would provide Sudani updates on the investigation inappropriately in exchange for bribes. Now, Rosenwasser had resigned from the Orange County District Attorney's Office this past June. In response to the incident, District Attorney David Hoovler stating, "It's truly heartbreaking that it ended this way. My heartfelt condolences go out to his family." The FBI giving limited details, only confirming it is reviewing an agent-involved shooting that took place here earlier this morning. From Campbell Hall, Orange County, Zinnia Maldonado, CBS News, New York.
Okay, now there's a couple things that are just crazy about that. Like, I don't know, investigating your own family is wild. I can't even. I don't know. It's just that's wild. The thing that make this the worst though is this dude was like, it's one thing to take a bribe to, build something or do something like that. But as a prosecutor, like literally, like in some states, life and death is in your hands as a prosecutor. That's like the absolute worst individual, one of the worst individuals who could ever be susceptible to a bribe, considering that life, death, a lot of jail time is really at their disposal. They have so much power. That's a terrible abuse of power, in my opinion. Let's go ahead. Let me cue up this indictment so we could dive in and get through it to see what the hell was going on, what led to this. All right, so here we are, United States of America. Hey, shout out to the Southern District of New York. Yo, Southern District of New York been busy, man. They've been getting everybody, man. Hey, R. Kelly, Diddy, they just been on a roll, man. The Southern District of New York ain't playing no games with anybody. This is absolutely crazy. All right, United States of America versus Stuart Rosenwasser and Masoud Soudani. Stuart Rosenwasser, the defendant, while serving as chief counsel to the district attorney and executive assistant district attorney of the Orange County District Attorney Office, accepted at least approximately $63,000 in bribe payments from Moot Soudani, aka Marty, aka Martin, aka Senor. The defendant, in exchange for the bribe payments, Rosenwasser, using the authority of the district attorney's office, this is fucking terrible. Like, even before like this dude literally should have had the book thrown at him, being a prosecutor. You could like investigate and prosecute people, get people arrested. Like, you have so much power. This is the worst. In exchange for bribe payments, Rosenwasser, using the authority of the district attorney's office, assisted and was influenced by Soudani to, among other things, investigate and prosecute two individuals, individual one and individual two, and collectively the individuals. Lead and prioritize the matter, improperly provide confidential information about the matter to Soudani, seize money from the individuals that would be seize money from the individuals that would be paid to Soudani as restitution, and repeatedly decline to recuse himself from the matter despite Rosenwasser's conflict of interest. To conceal his criminal conduct, Rosenwasser lied about the nature of his relationship with Soudani to the senior leadership of the district attorney's office, and others, made false statements on financial disclosure forms, and lied to federal agents. On or about October 2022, Rosenwasser, the defendant, using the authority of the district attorney's office at the request of Soudani, initiated a criminal investigation of the individuals and promised Soudani in a text message. Oh, here we go. And oh my God, come on. Like, and the other thing is, most criminals don't do things smart, but if you work in a prosecutor's office and you were a judge, I would expect you to be a little bit smarter about things. One of those things would probably not be using text messages. All right. I initiated a criminal investigation of the individuals and promised Soudani in a text message that he would put maximum effort into the matter. The individuals are both close relatives of Soudani, who previously resided with him in New York and moved to Colorado in or about mid-October 2022. That's weird as hell. Maybe they had some business thing going on and he was trying to get them deported or something. I don't know. That's weird to want somebody to investigate your close family members. On or about November 10th, 2022, shortly after Rosenwasser initiated the criminal investigation that Soudani had requested, Soudani paid Rosenwasser approximately $15,000 by check, the first of many bribe payments. Rosenwasser accepted from Soudani. Come on, bro. You at the DA's office and you're a former judge and you sending text messages and taking checks. I hope they got an image of the check in here. Because if it say, like the memo say, for bribe, I'm gonna be like, this dude tripping. This is crazy. Okay. He initiated the criminal investigation, paid $15,000, which Rosenwasser accepted from Soudani. On or about December 23rd, 2022, Soudani texted Rosenwasser, I give my word at the end, you will be extremely more than happy. During the course of the criminal case, Rosenwasser and Soudani, damn, they writing this terrible. The defendants communicated regularly, including through text messages, phone calls, and in-person meetings. Soudani frequently asked Rosenwasser for updates on the investigations, and Rosenwasser provided Soudani with information about the investigation's progress, including confidential details that were inappropriate for a prosecutor to share with a complainant about the investigation and the individuals. Okay, so him and his family members. So Soudani and his family members had some case going on, as it says he was the complainant. So I'm thinking maybe it's some business relationship, like money may have been misappropriated or stolen. We'll see if they get into that. All right. For example, Rosenwasser provided information to Soudani about individuals' one location in Colorado, and he promised to show Soudani at Soudani's request. Law enforcement footage of the individuals. This is a fucking disgrace. Law enforcement footage of the individual's forthcoming arrest, i.e., BWC body worn camera footage, so that Soudani could see the individuals humiliated, among other things. After taking the usual step of personally traveling to Colorado for the individual's arrest, Rosenwasser provided contemporaneous updates to Soudani about the individuals and the execution of the search warrant. This is fucking ridiculous. In addition, Rosenwater and Soudani took steps to conceal their communications. For example, in or about January 30th, 2023, Rosenwasser tested Soudani, "I won't text anymore." You think? God damn, this dude is not bright. "I won't text anymore. Anything you want to tell me, call me. That's it. And I will call you tomorrow. We must stop creating text messages, period." On or about May 6, 2023, Soudani texted Rosenwater, "Number one, my phone is clean. Everything that was bad is turned off or completely taken out." These are two grown ass men. One is a current prosecutor, a former judge, and the other one is too dumb to know that whatever you had on your phone is just out there in the ether. These guys are fucking idiots. All right, on or about March 8, 2023, Rosenwasser, the defendant, charged the individuals by felony complaint with larceny. See, I didn't even read this, and I already knew it was something with money. They had some business relationship. Those guys probably allegedly stole from him. They may not even stole from him. This dude could have just slapped these charges on him, for all we know. The defendants were charged. The defendant charged the individuals by felony complaint with larceny in violation of certain provisions of New York penal law. After the individuals were charged in or about April 2023, attorneys for Individual One counsels advised Rosenwater that he had a conflict of interest and should recuse himself from the criminal case because Rosenwater had previously represented Soudani, the defendant, in private practice in or about 1990s. It could be a conflict, probably not a conflict. One, the age of it, representing somebody in the 90s don't mean you can't represent them ever or never have an interest in their case. So I'm thinking it's probably not a conflict. The age limit is probably two different matters. It's not related to the same facts or circumstances, but it could be a conflict, but I don't think it is just from the time limit of it. I mean, if this guy was an honest acting prosecutor. Despite having accepted at least $30,000 in bribe payments from Soudani as of in or about April 2023, Rosenwater denied the existence of a conflict and declined to recuse himself from the criminal case. Instead, Rosenwater told leadership at the district attorney's office that he could not recall his prior representations of Soudani. Rosenwater told one senior attorney in substance and in part that he used to buy coffee and bagels from Soudani, and that was the extent of their relationship. Rosenwasser failed to disclose Individuals One counsel and or leadership of the district attorney's office, his decade-long relationship with Soudani, it's a conflict. It ain't like he represented them, then what about his business? He represented them and they was boys ever since. His decade-long relationship with Soudani, his frequent inappropriate communications with Soudani during the course of the criminal case, and his acceptance of significant sums of money from Soudani during the course of the criminal case. Of course, he wouldn't disclose that. Based on Rosenwasser's false and misleading representation, the district attorney's office did not immediately remove Rosenwasser from the case. On or about May 10th and May 12th, 2023, Rosenwater, the defendant, presented the case against Individual 2 to a grand jury and obtained an indictment against Individual 2. They probably didn't even do this shit. This is absolutely terrible. Rosenwater grand jury petition included testimony from Soudani. This is fucked up. Soudani, the defendant. On or about May 9th and May 11th, 2023, Soudani gave Rosenwasser approximately 10 money orders totaling $10,000, which Soudani had purchased in cash at Rosenwasser's direction. Why didn't you just take the cash? I mean, oh my God. Like, bro, I don't know. I don't know what this guy's doing. He's the worst criminal, especially to be a prosecutor. Why you just didn't take the cash? Why you have him go get money orders that he got to physically go in the place and get? He probably bought them all from the same fucking place. Now you got these money orders, and I guarantee you, he probably fucking deposited them via his mobile app on his phone, all on the same day. This is ridiculous. Sudani paid Rosenwater by money order rather than check in attempts to conceal the source of Sudani's payment to Rosenwasser. In or about June 2023, Rosenwasser, the defendant, was replaced on a criminal case by a senior executive at the district attorney's office. In the fall of 2023, the district attorney's office moved to dismiss the case against individual one and offered individual two a plea agreement, which individual two accepted. Like I said, the charges were probably trumped up like hell. On or about March 6, 2024, this is new too. On or about March 6, 2024, individual two was sentenced to 1 to 7 years imprisonment. On or about January 5th, 2024, the district attorney's office dispersed approximately $478,000 in restitution from the criminal case to Sudani. 3 days later, on or about January 8th, 2024, Sudani paid Rosenwasser, the defendant, approximately $15,000 by check. Rosenwasser and Sudani continued their financial relationship through at least in or about May 2024. As of in or about May 2024, Sudani had paid Rosenwasser at least approximately $63,000 by check, money order, or cash. All right, I want to see this. This is a little bit about the defendants. Rosenwasser graduated from law school in about 1977 and practiced law for approximately 47 years thereafter, including as an assistant district attorney at the district attorney's office, a private practitioner, a county court judge, and an acting New York State Supreme Court justice, which is a big deal. Like, this guy is an idiot. Hey, I know he's no longer here, but this is the most ridiculous fact pattern I ever seen from somebody with 47 years of legal experience at the county level, at the highest court in the state, as a prosecutor, as a private practice person who probably did criminal defense. This dude just getting money orders and texting people. This is actually crazy work. In or about 2019, Rosenwasser returned to the district attorney's office as a part of its executive staff, assuming the role of executive assistant district attorney and chief counsel to the district attorney. Rosenwasser's responsibility included, among other things, authorizing charges by indictment and advising on ethics issues. Given his leadership role at the district attorney's office, beginning in or about 2019, Rosenwasser was the lead prosecutor on only a handful of select cases, approximately 2 large cases other than the criminal case. Sudani, the defendant, is a self-proclaimed that's hilarious that they say he's a self-proclaimed. Sudani, the defendant, is a self-proclaimed millionaire and a former restaurant owner. Sudani is individual's one brother and individual's two uncle. This is fucking crazy. And the father of the third individual three. At the times relevant to this indictment, Rosenwasser and Sudani, the defendants, had known each other for approximately 40 years. Yeah, that's a conflict, bro. It's one thing if you represented them and then you just came across them in happenstance, but you represented them and y'all been like homeboys ever since. That's crazy. He known him for 40 years, and Rosenwasser had represented Sudani as a private attorney in or about in the 1990s. Though Sudani, Rosenwasser had also known individual one for decades. All right, the district attorney's office. At all times relevant to the indictment, Rosenwasser, the defendant, was employed at the district attorney's office, blah, 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 Orange County, New York. At all times relevant to this indictment, the DA's office receives in excess of $10,000 in federal funds within 1 year period. Criminal prosecutors have a special relationship and obligation as attorneys and officers of the court to administer and administrators of justice. A prosecutor's ethical duties in New York derive from and are defined by many sources, including the New York Rules of Professional Conduct, the Constitution of the United States, and the state of New York, statutes, case laws, local laws, and regulations. Under Rule 1.11F of the New York Rules of Professional Conduct. A lawyer who holds public office shall not accept anything of value from any person when the lawyer knows or it is obvious that the offer is for the purpose of influencing the lawyer's actions as a public official. Similar to what we read when we were going through Eric Adams and New York's rule for what they could accept as gifts. Same type of concept. Orange County requires its employees to submit a disclosure form signed under penalty of perjury. Oh, so this is the document that dude lied on. Let me see. I'm a probably self-proclaimed thousandaire. Yeah, y'all see my shirt. I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire, not a millionaire. Orange County requires its employees to submit financial disclosure forms signed under penalty of perjury, listing all money, services, meals, loans, or items with monetary value over $75 and received from the same donor. Prosecutors at a district attorney's office are prohibited from accepting or soliciting various benefits, including money, loans, and meals valued at over $75 within a 12-month period from any one person, or any financial benefit under circumstances in which it could reasonably be inferred that the benefit was intended to influence the prosecutor in the performance of his official duties. All right, let's see. October to December, Rosenwater initiates an investigation of the individuals, accepts at least $20,000. This is written really weird. I'm trying to see. Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and read this because they gave us a little summary, just a little bit more detail. All right, on or about October 14th. God damn it. On or about October 14th, 2022, individual one who had been residing with Sudani, the defendant left Sudani in New York with individual two for Colorado. After the individuals left Sudani on or about October 16th, 2022, Sudani contacted a friend, witness one. Sudani told witness one in substance and in part that the individual had stolen. What did I I already knew that. If you pressing charges against a family member, it's either for money or somebody that got their ass whipped. So I already knew what it was. And these didn't seem like the people. When you paying bribes, people who pay bribes are less likely to just whip someone's ass or be, like they'll handle it on a more white collar thing. But I already knew what it was. All right. Individual has stolen significant sums of cash and money saved in Sudani's financial account. Sudani also told witness one in substance and in part that he had previously loaned Rosenwasser, the defendant, approximately $40,000, and Rosenwasser had never paid Sudani back, and Rosenwater would take care of Sudani's situation. This is fucking crazy. Sudani later told an investigator from a New York investigating agency that after meeting with witness one, Sudani tried to report the individual's alleged theft to the local police department, but was told that the matter was civil and not criminal. Yo, it was another case that was very popular. I can't fucking think of what it was, but it was this exact same fact pattern. Damn, I can't think of the case. If y'all can remember the case in the chat, let me know. But it was another case involving somebody of substance, and it was this exact same fact pattern that happened some years ago. I can't fucking think of who it was though. All right, in or about late October 22, Rosenwater and Sudani began communicating between on or about October 26, 2022. I hate the way they wrote this. And on or about November 3rd, 2022. Rosenwater, who was then employed as executive assistant district attorney and chief counsel to the DA, and Sudani exchanged multiple phone calls. On or about October 28th, 2022, Rosenwater emailed Investigator 1 about a potential case. In his email to Investigator 1, Rosenwater stated that he had been contacted by Sudani, who advised Individual 1 and 2 may have stolen an investment account of $1.8 million and over $500,000 in cash. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see why he would pay $63,000 to try to get his 1.8 million back. Even though I'm not justified, it's all starting to make sense now that I know the details. All right. Sudani has attempted to contact the individuals, without success. On or about October 31st, 2022, based on Ross and Wasser's request, the investigating agency opened an investigation. On or about November 4th, 2022, Sudani and Rosenwater, they texted, hi, please make sure when they get them, the individuals, both have Apple computers and telephones that will show you where they both have Apple phones, Apple computers, and telephones that will show you where they ever been, especially him. Don't worry about this text. Will be done the same. What the fuck? Wait. Whatever. I'm skipping what the fuck he said. A few hours later, he was like, get that computer, Slim. A few hours later, Ross and Water texted Sadati. There has been a crypto guy now assigned to the case. My investigator is meeting with him in Garden City next Tuesday. Hopefully, I'll be able to issue a grand jury subpoena next week. In response, Sudani texted Rosenwasser, great, I trust you fully. You're the only man who I can. On or about November 6, 2022, Sudani met with witness one and stated about the criminal case. The DA's on my side. He's my friend. So that's at least in good hands. Sudani also told witness one that he knew that the individuals were living in Colorado. You know, the funny part is the charges against individual one looked like they were dropped. So individual one lead, but individual two ended up entering a plea. Now, I don't know what the plea was. Maybe they'll tell us this, but he could have not paid the district attorney anything, and they probably would have still did all of this shit, just not let them know. They'd just let them know once they were ready to proceed to trial or the guy was going to take a plea. That's how stupid all of this is. Not to mention the whole dumbass transactions and money orders and checks and text messages, but the simple fact that you're paying a prosecutor to do his job, which is something that he would do any fucking way. And one of the guys actually ate a charge per a plea agreement. So there was clearly some substantive evidence there. I don't know. This whole thing is freaking ridiculous. During the course of the criminal case, Rosenwater and Sudani, the defendants, communicated with one another on a regular basis, including through text messages and phone calls and in person. On or about November 2022 through December 22, Rosenwater and Sudani exchanged at least approximately 200 text messages, idiots, and at least approximately 26 phone calls. In their text messages, Rosenwater and Sudani planned in-person meetings at which no one else, such as law enforcement officers assigned to the criminal case, would be present. In addition, Sudani frequently requested updates regarding the investigation. Rosenwasser provided updates, including improper disclosures of confidential information about the investigation to Sudani, and Rosenwasser asked Sudani about certain evidence. For example, this is interesting. For example, on or about November 7th, 2022, Sudani and Rosenwater texted that he had deleted Rosenwasser's prior text message and wanted the individual's addresses in Colorado. The next day, Rosenwater texted Sudani the individual's address in Colorado. That's fucking crazy. Like, yo, the type of work I do, if somebody did something like this, they gonna send the goon squad to clean up. Like, this dude could have got those guys killed. Like, if somebody, think about it, if you really felt like somebody took millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars from you, you might go pay them a visit. You might risk it all to do some inflict some serious bodily harm. This is actually insane. Yeah. How is Stephen that criminal? How did they make the determination without at least collecting a report of interview? Feeling happy I don't have any money. There's more money, more problems. What's good? What's good? I appreciate you joining in. Yeah. I will add, I don't have any debt. Debt free. If you debt free, you actually got money. Like, yeah, I don't know. I would rather make like $60,000 a year and be debt free versus making like $200,000 and you just owe everybody everything. I mean, you're gonna be paycheck to paycheck. That shit'll suck. This dude sent the addresses. That's wild. On or about November 10th, 2022, Rosswater and Sudani scheduled to meet at a local diner the same day. Rosswater deposited a check from Sudani dated November 10th, 2022, in the amount of $15,000 with loan written in the memo. Okay, well, at least they were smart enough not to write bribe. Yeah, still stupid, but yeah, at least they didn't write bribe. On November 18th, 2022, Rosswater and Sudani exchanged the following text messages, among others. Sudani, any progress? I'm anxious. Thanks. Rosswater, waiting to talk to investigators. Should know something today. He's a bitch. He, he just this dude's bitch. Pardon my language. Sudani, I recently learned that he told the wedding party in the suite that he is a millionaire. My grandson told me that. Rosswater, he is. With your money. This is just so terrible, man. Sudani, are you able to freeze the accounts when you know where the money is? Yes or no? Rosswater, we will be able to. Rosswater, believe me, I'm putting maximum effort into this. We will utilize all available assets. On November 22nd, 2022, Sudani texted Rosswater, any progress? He responded, the subpoenas are out. On the 23rd, they exchanged the following text messages. Happy holidays. I wish you and your family the best. I wish you and your family the best. By the way, anything with the wallets, Rosswater, I will speak to you this weekend. We have body cam video of the individuals to arrest, full layout of house, etc. All good for the search warrant. I'm going to go into the grand jury as soon as I receive your certified bank records. I have arranged an audit of all electronic transfers. Hold up. I got it. Can we let's pause it here. I'm about to, because I don't think y'all realize how stupid this is, okay? I just want to tell you, I just want to talk about how stupid this is. You know what? Let me go to full screen for this. Let's realize how stupid this is. This guy is a prosecutor, right? 47 years in the game, right? He got 47 years in the game. He's a prosecutor. Right now, he just took a check from a guy who's paying him a bribe. Not to mention the text message, but let's just focus on what was said. He took a check from a guy who's paying him a bribe. Now he's having a communication with the dude saying, hey, I'm going to the grand jury. I just got to wait till I get your bank records because we're looking at all your transactions. What the hell? How dumb is that? This dude is an absolute idiot. You are telling the guy who you just took a check from that, yo, hey, we're going to get all of your bank statements and everything and track all of the transactions. Dude, you just took a check from this guy. You don't think that prosecutors are going to do the same exact thing to prosecute your ass? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I just wanted to point that out because that is absolutely idiotic. Take a check from a guy, then immediately tell him, we're going to do a deep dive into your bank accounts because I'm fighting for you. Retarded. Ridiculous. Oh, my goodness. All right. I'm planning on going to Colorado for the search and to interview. I think when individual one sees me, it's over. You are 100% right. Sudani, you are 100% right. I give you my word at the end. You will be extremely more than happy. God bless you. You're the only man who could do this. Please, I have to meet with you whenever you say for 5 minutes before you leave for Colorado. Thanks. That's the other thing, too. Like, I couldn't take no bribes because, one, like, $63,000 wouldn't be enough. But two, I don't want to feel like nobody's bitch. like I don't want to feel like nobody's flunky like you own me. That would drive me crazy. On or about December 26, 2022, Rosswater and Sudani exchanged text messages about an in-person meeting. On the 27th, he deposited a check. This dude's an idiot. In the amount of $5,000 with loan written in the memo line. January to February, Rosswater prepares to arrest the individuals and accepts at least $5,000 in bribe payment from Sudani. Sudani could have had all of this done and not paid him shit. Literally, he could have had all this done and not paid him anything. Okay, I'm not telling nobody how to commit a crime, but he could have realistically and potentially avoided all this. Been like, bro, I'm gonna come to your office. I gotta talk to somebody. These guys got me out of my money. there's a crime that occurred. It's your job to prosecute. And he talked to the guy, telling him about the case. It had to be some facts there because one person pled guilty. If it was no facts, trust me, he wouldn't have took a plea agreement. That's not. I'm gonna take a plea agreement even though y'all don't got no facts to prove I'm guilty. That's not how it works. So there had to be some facts favorable because individual two actually pled guilty. So it had to be some facts that are favorable there. But he could have went and got all of this done without paying anything. And the only carrot he could have put out there was, bro, didn't I loan you $40,000? You never paid me back. And he would be like, the dude would have been like, oh, I'm gonna do you a solid. He would have got the exact same thing with no current payments or transactions. And then if that were the case, there's an actual argument that $40,000 he loaned him in the past isn't a bribe because it was a loan that just wasn't repaid. So you potentially have no quid pro quo. But hey, it's not up to me to make the arguments for these idiots. All right. So they continue to communicate by text messages, phone call, and in-person meetings about the criminal case. The individuals, their mode of communication. On January 6, 2023, after communicating in person, meeting at a local diner, Sudani texted Rosenwater, "You could do what you did today anytime, your soothing voice and the half smile that is always on your face." Okay, I need that badly for the future. I do have individuals, one, actual accounting papers for the safe. Love you, you the man, emoji. Rosenwater responded, "We'll get there." I don't know, these text messages sounded kind of wild, but Rosenwater responded, we'll get there. On or about January 9th, 2023, after Sudani texted Rosenwater about a conversation he had with individual two's attorney in a different matter, Rosenwater texted Sudani, "I won't text anymore, and anything you want to tell me, call me. That's it." On the 19th of January 2023, Rosenwater arranged for Sudani, the defendant, to meet with an investigator at the district attorney's office, Investigator 2, so that Investigator 2 could, among other things, extract communication between Sudani and the individuals from Sudani's cell phone. Oh my God. If this dude showed his cell phone and the investigator seen a bunch of fucking text messages to the prosecutor, this shit is fucking crazy. And this is actually a pretty interesting indictment because it's just so stupid. Okay. All right. To meet with the investigator so he can extract communications between Sudani and the individuals from Sudani's cell phone. With Sudani's consent, Investigator 2 created a forensic image of Sudani's cell phone and returned Sudani's cell phone to Sudani. Bruh. What? You know what? This is the stupidest. They are the stupidest, but they're up there. They're in contention for the stupidest group of criminals I have ever seen in my life. You, as the payor, the person paying the bribe to the prosecutor have you meet with investigators so they can do a mirror image to capture all the information from your device with which you've been communicating with the prosecutor and making payments and doing all sorts of goofy shit. This is ridiculous. These guys are absolute idiots. Soothing voice, yeah. It gave me cause to pause too. Yeah. When I was reading that text message, I was like, then it said emoji. Like, I don't know. Was it a heart emoji? Was it a peach? I don't know what was going on. It sounded a little wild. I would agree, but this is a crazy and a stupid group of guys. Okay, with Sudani's consent, Investigator 2 created a forensic image of Sudani's cell phone and returned Sudani's cell phone to the defendant. On January 20, 2023, after his cell phone had been imaged by Investigator 2 and returned to him, Sudani exchanged the following text messages with Stuart Rosenwater, the defendant. "I'm thinking about how you handle," this dude overly complimentary. "I'm thinking about how you handle things. You not just smart, you're a genius and tough as nails with your calm voice and smile on your..." It's your calm voice and smile on your face. This text message is wow. That comment is hilarious because as soon as you said it comes back up. With your calm voice and smile on your face, you could go through. Still, I honestly knew that about you, but you have surpassed my expectations by far. And the most genius thing you're doing is going to the city of Colorado personally. I would never ever thought of that. You leaving no chance, any holes or mistakes. You are in full control of things. I have nothing but love, heart emoji, and respect for you. I'm a very smart guy with an accent, but you are impressing the hell out of me. And I really know I don't even want to read any more of that. Thank you for that. It was all compliments, heart emojis, butterfly, kissy faces, all of that stuff. All right. Here we are on January 2023. The defendant, Rosenwater, directed Sudani to meet with Investigator One for an interview. Investigator One met with Sudani and memorialized Sudani's statement. This was the first time Investigator One had met with Sudani, despite Rosenwater's initiation of the investigation at Sudani's request nearly 3 months earlier. After Investigator One's interview of Sudani and Rosenwater engaged in the following messages, among others. Okay, I was just wanted to make sure it was no more lovey-dovey stuff. So he has two accounts outside of the country. So what? Individual two thinks now if the account are large enough, so it pays for him to take of and call it a day. So oh my God, this dude, you can tell blah blah blah. I'm gonna read it and give y'all the Reader's Digest version. Okay, freeze his passport so he can't leave the country. Also, you have to complicate his mother so he will know it's not only him, but his mother as they come together. This dude crazy. All right, let's say those accounts go through him, his computer, charges, scare the shit out of him. You have to solve this problem through him, even through the FBI. If you're going to be involved, the best way is to solve the problem is through him. When you arrest him, what are the countries that we are talking about? I know you're already ahead of me. This guy said there's no better man for you than the job. All right, he just wanted him to freeze his passport, freeze his family member's passport, preferably his mother, blah, blah, blah. I'll call you tomorrow. we must stop creating text messages, says Rosenwater. Too late for that. Then literally, that text message was on January 23rd. Then another text message on February 9th. Rosenwater and the defendant texted, I'm almost ready to go to grand jury. Sudani responded, I thought so. This is why I'm leaving you alone. You are usually ahead of me. God bless you. A few days later, on February 13th, 2023, Rosenwater deposited a check from Sudani dated February 13th in the amount of $5,000 with loan written in the memo, redactions added. On February 24th, 2023, Rosenwater and the defendant swore to two affidavits requesting search warrants for a vehicle and an apartment where individual one was staying in Colorado. The search warrant affidavit did not disclose Rosenwater's relationship with Sudani or the payments Rosenwater had accepted from Sudani. Let's see, in March 2023, both defendants exchanged approximately 28 phone calls for at least approximately 63 text messages about meeting in person. The individuals and their arrest. The individual statement to law enforcement, body camera footage of the arrest, and cash seized pursuant to search warrants. On March 8th, 2023, Rosenwater, using the authority of the district attorney's office, charged by complaint individual one with grand larceny in the second degree in violation of New York penal law for an amount of $350,000. Individual two was charged with grand larceny in the first degree in violation of New York penal law for $1.6 million from Sudani. Based on the complaint, arrest warrants were obtained for individuals. All right, these guys are a couple of chuckleheads. This is actually this is actually ridiculous. Y'all had me cracking up. Y'all had me cracking up. Let me go through. I just want to catch some comment. Not so smart. It was giving me a headache. Oh, come on. I want a full script read, heart by heart, crying tears, rolling smiley, fire, umbrella emojis. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and get back to it. All right, on March 7th, days before the individuals were arrested. Okay, so individual two, hey, $1.6 million, and he took a plea. So yeah, something definitely happened. Individual one looked like he got screwed. He might have not did anything at all. But probably with some facts for individual two, just based on the news report and what we're reading here. The day before the individuals were arrested, Water and Sudani exchanged the following messages. Every time I read these messages, I'm like, man, is this like, you know, all right, let's see. Sudani, I wish you will have some recordings for the arrest. I want to see them, the individuals humiliated, especially him. By the way, I went to the Goodwill Church and made a prayer for you and lit a candle. The best of luck. As I told you, I can't sleep. My stomach is full of butterflies. Water. You'll be able to see the body camera footage. Sudani, yes, please. Rosenwater, the defendant, traveled from New York to Colorado so he could present the individual's arrest and the execution of the search warrant on or about March 8th, 2023. Even though such travel by prosecutor at the district attorney's office is uncommon, Rosenwater was present at the apartment. That is weird. For an extended interaction with individual one in the hallway outside of the apartment. As captured by body-worn camera footage, individual one and Rosenwater had the following exchange outside the apartment in part. Individual one, really, Water? Me? Shame on you. Why are you coming after me? Shame on you. I'm your friend. I made you food. That's the other thing. Like, even if they wouldn't have had all of these messages, let's say Water and Sudani were actually fucking smart and they did this the smart way. You don't think when you go to arrest this guy's uncle and brother or whatever they were, individual one and two, the individual one and two aren't going to be like, yo, this guy knows the complainant. They're best friends. This is all bogus. Like, it was going to come to light no matter how you slice it. Crazy. You individual one, you know why I left. I was getting beat up every single day. You want the truth, Water? You need to help yourself and calm down. Individual one, after 45 years of abuse, shame on you. Only one-sided because everybody is bought. Shame on you. It's nice to know people in high places. He always gets away with everything. Shame on you. Shame on all of you. And this is what I get. Waters, I'm not too high. Okay. On or about March 8th, 2023, the day the individual's arrest, Water communicated with Sudani by phone multiple times. They also exchanged text messages on the day of and the days following the arrest. For example, on March 8th, 2023, the conversation went, Sudani, are they yes or no? I want to ask more questions. Just yes or no. Water, yes, we're here. Individual one said individual one wants a lawyer. Sudani, you know what to do. You have to find the cash before you leave there. So there's no money to pay a lawyer. Damn, this wild as fuck to be saying all this in text messages. Sudani, individual one is tough, but individual two will break her. Okay. Sudani, how much total money you found? Rosewater, don't know yet. We'll talk on the phone. Not crazy about texting. Fucking idiots. Sudani, not even a phone call. You're killing me. Yeah, so now he getting too anxious and bugging the fuck out of him. I'll speak to you when I get back. Sitting outside your house right now. Sudani, God bless you. You don't miss a trick. Sudani, individual three is a scumbag. Do not leave the city before you get all of the money. You can otherwise it will be completely gone, as I told you. So he is a Sicilian, and why I asked you to read the letter I wrote him. Okay, I'm not reading any more of that conversation. This is ridiculous. On or about March 10th, 2023, Water texted Sudani that he had returned home from Colorado. Dog, Mike, stop. I don't know what you're doing, but stop. That he had returned home from Colorado early that morning, and he would come by this weekend for a full report. On the 13th of March 2023, Sudani and Rosenwater texted about the substance of individual two post-arrest statement to law enforcement. Sudani also told Rosenwater when discussing where the alleged stolen money was that if Rosenwater did not press hard, we will never see the money. On or about March 8th, that day, Rosenwater, the defendant, was in Colorado to arrest the individual. Sudani, the defendant, texted an image of a typed letter to individual 3. Individual 3 had permitted individual 1 to stay at individual 3's apartment. And individual 3 lived in another residence close to individuals in Colorado. In the letter, Sudani stated the following. Anytime Sudani writes something, I'm going to look at it and give y'all the Reader's Digest version because Sudani fucking killing me. The information. This dude is crazy. This dude wrote, Sudani wrote individual 3 a letter that states that, I'm going to read the beginning part of this. For your information, this is a letter Sudani writes to individual 3 about information he has on 1 and 2. For your information, I had individual 1 and individual 2's address the day that they moved in. I saw 3 body cameras of the apartment, and I saw the mattress that individual 2 slipped on. You take individual 2 in Colorado, help. But he's communicating with individual 3 about confidential shit he should have saw with relation to individual 1 and 2. This is ridiculous. And then he ends it with, let's read the end. You have no idea how far I could reach. Now he talking tough guy stuff. I am very stupid with technology and computers, but I am brilliant with everything else. You should know that. Fuck you. P.S. Let individual 1 know that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Yours truly. This is crazy. On the 9th of March 2023, Sudani texted Rosenwater, the defendant, referencing the letter that Sudani had written to individual 3. Okay. Let me see something real quick. March 20, 2023, individual 1 counsel reports to Rosenwater that Sudani abused individual 1, and Sudani continues to send threats intended for individual 1. Hold on, I'm just skimming through because this thing kind of long. We're gonna have to truncate this a little bit. Let's see. All right, on and about March 27th, Sudani and the defendant sent an image of a typed letter. This is Sudani threat number 2 by text message to individual 3, which references Rosenwater, the defendant, in the letter. Sudani is a fucking idiot. So essentially what he's doing, I'm gonna skip all of this, but what Sudani is doing is he's sending photographed copies of letters that he wrote to the individuals involved in this prosecution, where he's essentially making a bunch of tough guy threats, and he's also disclosing confidential information that he has about the investigation that clearly Rosenwater gave him that he shouldn't have, such as the body camera footage, being able to know and identify the juxtaposition and the layout of the apartment and everything. So that's essentially what that section says. This is just, let me see, the biggest case ever around here has to do with Coinbase. Every agency, state, federal, is watching. All I would have to tell people is to Google their names and read what you see. Don't fuck with me. So yeah, he's just talking. He's sending a bunch of letters, essentially disclosing his relationship and threatening, disclosing his relationship with the prosecutor Rosenwasser and making a bunch of fucking threats. April 2023, individual 1 counsel raises Rosenwater's conflict of interest, and Rosenwater accepts $5,000 in bribe payment for Sudani. So we know he gets the payment. I want to focus on the conflict that was pointed out. All right, here it is. April 5th, 2023, individual 1 counsel by letter stated that Rosenwater's relationship to his family creates at least the appearance of a conflict, and the position you are taking in this case is our usual. In response to on or about April 6, 2023, Rosenwater emailed Individual One counsel. Finally, as I indicated to you during our first phone conversation, I do not recall a single instance that I served, as Sudani's personal attorney, and would not even describe my relationship with the Sudani family as social. Okay, so he full of shit. On April 6, 2023, Rosenwater had accepted at least $25,000 in checks from Sudani. At no time did Rosenwater disclose those payments to Individual One's counsel or the district attorney's office. On April 10th, Individual counsel emailed Rosenwater with respect to your representation of Mr. Sudani. We have attached a screenshot from a unified court system record that showed that you represented the complainant in a civil matter. We understand that you may have also represented Mr. Sudani and his son on a burglary charge in the same period. Dude, you can't lie about stuff that the other side, you can't lie about stuff that the person you're lying to can easily prove by just looking it up in the court records. That's stupid as hell. In response, on April 10th, Rosenwater emailed Individual One counsel. I guess I didn't remember the case with Mr. Sudani 32 years ago. In any event, if this is going to be an issue, I would like to deal with it now. Between on or about April 10th and April 14th, Rosenwater and Sudani, the defendant, spoke by phone multiple times. On or about April 14th, Mr. Rosenwater deposited a check from Sudani dated April 14th in the amount of $5,000 with loan written on it. On April 16th, Sudani and the defendant sent a series of text messages to Individual 3, Sudani Threat 4. All right, so this dude keep doing the same fucking thing. He keeps sending threatening text messages to the individuals involved in the case, essentially Individual 1, 2, most commonly Individual 3, where he talking a bunch of shit. This one is actually kind of wild. I hope you rock while all this viciousness. You and your son are psychopaths playing the victim. I swear to God, I want to fucking choke you with my own hands. This dude is fucking crazy. This dude is clearly batshit crazy. He got all this incriminating evidence out here. Individual One counsel continued to raise the conflict of interest issue to Rosenwater because Rosenwater's relationship with Sudani. At this time, Individual One counsel was still unaware of Sudani's payments to Rosenwater during the criminal case, in part because the steps that Rosenwater and Sudani took to conceal their criminal conduct. Individual One's counsel's communication with Rosenwater included, for example, on or about April 17th, 2023, Individual One counsel sent by email a letter to Rosenwater stating the following. With respect to recusal, we agree that recusal should be dealt with sooner than later. Our position is that your representation of the people here present at least the appearance of impropriety. Accordingly, you should recuse yourself from the matter, and the office should wall you off from its continuance. You first advised that you had never represented Mr. Sudani. When you were presented with evidence that you had in fact represented Mr. Sudani, you stated in substance that you did not remember the case from 32 years ago. They pretty much calling them out like, yo, you capping, this is some bullshit. You know you represented them, and even if you didn't know, now you know you should be barred from representing them in this case. And most times when this happens, they'll get another prosecutor who doesn't have that conflict. Well, it's interesting because most times conflicts could apply to the entire firm or the entire prosecutor's office in some circumstances, but probably not in this circumstances. It'll probably be easy to just wall this guy off, put him in a corner somewhere, have him go do something else, and just bring a new prosecutor in. All right, let's see where we. Yeah, that dude terrible. He making all kinds of threats. Approximately 2 hours later, at 4:44, Rosenwater called Sudani, and the call lasted for over 4 minutes. All right, let's see. Rosenwater emailed Individual One's counsel. I got your letter. I will not take the liberty of responding to your concerns, but will rather distribute the letter and enclosure to the district attorney and members of the executive staff for their review and consideration. I will, of course, provide any information requested of me in reaching the decision for your request of my recusal. All right, they have an email communication, Rosenwater and Individual One Counsel. This is the companion case for the grand larceny involving cryptocurrency against the defendant's son, which from the beginning, the lawyer has been maneuvering to make a recusal request. So they just bringing up more facts like, yo, you really should be off this case because y'all clearly got something going on here, but these prior relationships are making things really shady. Okay, now here's where it get interesting. Okay, this is where it looks like the other attorney calls him out on actually receiving payment. All right, from in or about late April 2023 through in or about May of 2023, Rosenwater, the defendant, declined to recuse himself from the criminal case and failed to make any disclosures about his relationship with Sudani. Uh, let's see. To the leadership of the district attorney's office. Individual One Counsel and Counsel for Individual Two, despite Rosenwater having accepted at least $30,000 in payment from Sudani, insistent Rosenwater lied and misled the leadership of the district attorney's office, indicating in sum and substance that there was no conflict of interest, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I thought that was something here. Rosenwater proceeds to grand jury. He accepts at least $10,000 in bribe payment from Sudani. I'm just going, hey, this thing getting long. Y'all know when we get to the end, as we get to the end, we gotta do a little bit of a truncated version. So let's go and get it. Rosenwater said the following: the number on my phone is clean. Everything that was bad is turned off. All right, we talked about that before. Now they're trying to cover up things and get rid of some text messages. In the letter, Sudani stated the following to Individual One, amongst other things. This is crazy. Sudani is 74 years old talking crazy like this. Don't forget, I'm a 74-year-old man who has been living in upstate New York for 40 years. Everyone idolizes me and respects me to the fullest. To the letter, Sudani attached, amongst other things, various photographs of himself, Individual One, bundles of cash, and articles about Sudani's former restaurant. On or about May 10th and May 12th, 2023, Rosenwater, the defendant, having failed to recuse himself from the criminal case, disclosed his relationship with Sudani to the district attorney's office. On May 9th and 11th, 2023, Sudani purchased with cash approximately 10 money orders again, totaling approximately $10,000. Postal money orders. This is so stupid. All to Rosenwater. I want to know how he deposited those. Did he go to the bank? He probably deposited them on his phone because he a dumbass. All right, in June 23, he's removed from the case. The district attorney's office had not formally concluded that the prosecution of the criminal case by Rosenwater, the defendant, presented a conflict of interest or an appearance of a conflict of interest, but Senior Executive One removed Rosenwater from the case and replaced him on the criminal case. Rosenwater still remained copy on some emails relating to criminal case, which they shouldn't have done, and provided information about the investigation to Senior Executive. At the time, Senior Executive One was not aware of the payments from Sudani to Rosenwater. Let's see. Counsel received a letter by mail. Another threatening letter from Sudani that was sent because he is not that bright. All right, let's see. I'm trying to see where we get to how they found out about the payments because we generally know what's going on here. Transported to Colorado. They want him off the case. Rosenwater, the defendant, deposited another check in the amount of $3,100. The memo line was left blank. Let me see. Okay, so now in January of 2024 through May of 2024, Sudani receives restitution in the criminal case, and Rosenwater accepts at least $15,000 in bribe payment from Sudani. So again, he got restitution from Individual Two pled guilty to something. We don't know what it is yet, but there was clearly evidence that a crime actually occurred. All of this shit could have been done without the transferring of any monies, without no quid pro quo, in my personal opinion. All right, is another check. This is the check for $15,000. Okay, Ross and Water in 2023 and 2024 submits false county financial disclosure forms. I think we talked about this before in the Eric Adams situation. When you're a government employee, state, federal level, most times if you reach a certain level, like if you're a lower pay grade, you don't have to do financial disclosures. But if you're a higher pay grade or you have a position of trust or a professional position, every year you have to do a financial disclosure identifying like if you bought crypto, sold crypto, and did you get any new assets over a certain amount. So now this guy's clearly lying because he received $63,000, but of course he's not going to disclose that. He's stupid, but he's not completely stupid, so he's not going to disclose that. Ross and Water makes false statement to federal agents. All right, let's see. All right, so this is the last thing, then we'll just go skim through the counts. On or about June 18th, 2024, Ross and Water, the defendant, participated in a voluntary interview with law enforcement agents with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I would never participate in that. I would never advise my client to participate in anything. Like, no, don't talk. Let them prove their case. They already got evidence against you, but you don't need to go in there and make things worse. During the interview, Ross and Water claimed the district attorney and senior executive one were aware, that Ross and Water knew individual one and that they indicated that it would be beneficial for Ross and Water to travel to Colorado for the execution of the arrest and search warrant so that individual one would see a familiar face. That sounds like a crock of shit. And potentially participate in an interview. In truth and in fact, neither the district attorney nor senior executive one were aware of Ross and Water's relationship with individual one prior to his travel to Colorado because Ross and Water had failed to disclose the relationship. Accordingly, neither the district attorney nor senior executive one told Ross and Water they believed that it would be beneficial for the case for Ross and Water to participate in the execution of an arrest and search warrant for an individual with whom he had a personal relationship. All right, so conspiracy to commit bribery, count one. It's just reiterating the facts that we already know. Let's see what other counts we got in here. Count two, actual bribery as to Stuart Rosenwater. Count three, bribery as to Sudani. Count four, conspiracy to commit honest services fraud. Now, this is one we talked about. I don't know if y'all remember, but when I did a video like the top 5 crimes Tiffany Henyard could be charged with. And I've been doing this for almost 15 years now. I never fucking heard of honest services fraud until I looked into it. But here we see it again. It pops up, honest services fraud. Count 5, honest services fraud and wire fraud for all the transfers of money. Extortion under color of official right for Ross and Water. Count 7, false statements for Ross and Water. Count 8, interstate threats for Sudani for those wild ass letters. A forfeiture allegation to try to get all the monies back. And shout out to Damian Williams, the Attorney General for the Southern District of New York. Boy, you making moves. Eric Adams, this guy, Diddy, that dude is putting in some work. But that indictment is the craziest indictment I've ever seen. Now we know the facts as to what happened. I actually tried to look up before the live started, but I was 6 minutes late. I ain't had enough time. But I was trying to look up because I wanted to see what was Stuart Rosenwasser's actual salary. He was a state employee. Most times, state employee salary you can just easily find on the internet. You can find most government employees' salary on the internet. So I wanted to see what his salary was. I was looking in calendar year 2024, but for some reason I couldn't get a hit on his name. But I'm assuming he was in New York. This dude's been practicing law for 40 some odd years. He probably was making well into the high 100, probably close to $200,000 easily. Being in upstate New York with that much experience, being a senior executive. So I don't know. I don't understand while someone who's been practicing law for 47 years would be swayed by $63,000 when in the full scheme of things, that's not shit for an attorney who's been practicing for fucking 47 years. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's a minuscule amount of money in the full scheme of things. The other thing is like, I'm not trying to put out how to circumvent the law, but everybody could have gotten exactly what they wanted by just doing their job. Dude had a legitimate claim. He actually got restitution. Somebody actually pled guilty. There was facts. Somebody stole a shitload of money from the defendant. It's unequivocal. Maybe not with regard to individual one, because I think he got off, but individual two was on the hook. Somebody stole a lot of money from this guy. There was facts there. All he had to do was present it, and the prosecutor would have did everything that this guy did, with the exception of disclosing the confidential information and taking a bribe. Then, I mean, because think about it. What if all of this, let's just say, okay, let's just say no money exchange hand, no unauthorized communication of confidential information related to the investigation or the prosecution occurred. Let's say this guy complained to the DA's office. They did an investigation. They filed charges. They got a conviction. They paid this dude his restitution, and everything was well. Everything went well. Even if he dropped out of the case because of a conflict, everything resolved, but there was no bribes, okay? The conflict, I think, could have been worked around because eventually he got off of the case, even though they waited to the last minute because they were unbeknownst to the relationship. But the guy could have got his money back. He could have got the prosecution he wanted. And then after this was all said and done, a year later, he could have been like, hey, man, let me give you some cash for, I just like you. You did a good job, man. I gave you some cash. If that would have happened, that technically wouldn't have been a bribe because it was no quid pro quo. He did his job, and subsequently, this guy gave him a gift as a friend because they actually have a friendship relationship. That gift could be made to appear to have no relation to what was done with regard to his job. So I don't know. I think these guys were a bunch of idiots. I think that Wasser was aware of how screwed he was. And one of the worst things that could happen is like I don't know. One of the worst things that could happen is being law enforcement and being in custody. Okay. Being a defense attorney and being in custody is still probably bad, not as bad, but being a prosecutor is someone who probably put a lot of people in the jail that you're about to go to in custody is probably not going to end well for you. I agree. Hey, overall, the United States attorneys, when they prosecute cases, they got like a 93, 95% prosecution rate because they not taking nothing. Like I've had cases where I was like, hey, you all should take this case. Here you go. And they like, in this case, literally, I don't know if I told this story before, but I had a case where, we did the investigation. It was a beautiful investigation, I must say so. The agents, everybody on the team did a great job. The auditors, beautiful investigation. It was white collar, big money involved. Not relatively the largest amount of money, but it was a sizable amount of money. And I wrote everything up. And when I turned it in, I submitted it, and they looked at it and was like, nah, we good. Now, keep in mind, this case was about as gift wrapped as a case can be, and they declined it. But then, like maybe a couple of months later, we were going to pursue an administrative remedy. Okay, let me explain what that means. So, long story short, let's say I work at the Special Inspector General for Pandemic Relief. So my job is to investigate people who do PPP fraud, right? So me as the attorney, the investigators, the auditor, we investigate person A. We got enough facts we got enough facts where we can convict person A of theft and all of these different crimes, right? So me as the attorney, I'll essentially do a write-up. And the write-up that I would do, that I would give to the federal prosecutors, is essentially the argument that they're going to make. In order to convict this person of these crimes, you need to prove all of these things. Here are the facts I'm giving you in a beautiful written memorandum of how you'll prove the case. All you got to do is just present it. Everything else is laid out. We did the investigation. We got the exhibits. Here is a memo telling you how you need to present it to the jury. Everything else is done. If the U.S. Attorney's Office declined that case, they actually have a civil remedy where, okay, the U.S. Attorney's Office don't want to prosecute the case, but the agency that I work for, the Inspector General for Pandemic Relief, we can actually pursue a civil remedy against the individuals. Now, we can't get them for criminal charges, but we can get them for civil charges. The only difference is if the U.S. Attorney files civil charges, if the U.S. Attorney went through them criminally, it's going to be a criminal charge, a criminal conviction, restitution, all of that stuff, asset forfeiture. That's option one. So the U.S. Attorney can go criminally. Option two, the U.S. Attorney can go civilly, and they'll get treble damages. Treble damages is 3 times the actual damages. So if a person stole $100,000 and the U.S. Attorneys go civilly, the U.S. Attorney can get $300,000. Now, if the U.S. Attorneys don't want to prosecute it criminally, they don't want to prosecute it civilly, the agency, and every federal government agency has this at their disposal, the federal government agency can initiate its own civil recovery without using the U.S. Attorney. The only difference is instead of being able to recoup 3 times the actual damages, the statute limits them to only 2 times the actual damages. And let me see, I'm going to pull it up because it's funny. I worked on it and I can't recall what the name of that statute is. What is the name of that damn statute? Now I got to find out. Let's see. Okay, I remembered it. It just hit me. I don't even got to look it up. It's called PIFPA. I had to think of it. Like, I was like, why the fuck I don't know this? I should know this. I did so many of these cases. It's called PIFPA. So if the U.S. Attorney doesn't handle a case criminally, or they don't want to take a case and just do it civilly, whatever the investigative agency is, they can use PIFCRA, and the acronym stands for the Program Fraud Civil Remedies Act. And it doesn't apply just to any case. It applies to cases. I gave the example of PPP because it's a program fraud. It has to be a federal government program that was defrauded by like Treasury, HUD, something like that. But it allows the agency that investigated to pursue a civil action and get 2 times of the actual losses. So that's just something, food for thought. But, you know, these guys didn't want to take my case that was gift wrapped. We elected to use PIFCRA to pursue it. And then as we were ready to move forward with PIFCRA, they were like, yo, wait a minute, that's a good case. Can we have that one? And I was more than happy to give it over because now I didn't have to prosecute it and do the litigation. They would do the litigation. Plus, we would get 3 times the damages as opposed to 2 times the damages. Let me see. Kind of like OJ and Bill Carter. Yeah, Diddy gonna be broke. His kids might actually have to. Well, his kids might have. They may have to get real jobs. It depends because even if he has money in accounts that are, let's say, in the Cayman Islands or overseas, he's gonna burn all that stuff up between all of these civil lawsuits that he's dealing with that may come in the future and paying for all this criminal stuff. Literally, I probably do a video tomorrow. I'll probably put out a video where he's going for a 3rd try to get his bond reduced. He's going to appellate court, and they probably going to be like, fuck no. But, yo, that's it for this video. I just wanted to go through that indictment. That indictment was actually insane. And the moral of the story is don't commit crimes. All money is not good money. Do the right thing. And the most important thing is doing the right thing when nobody's watching. It's easy to do the right thing when everybody's watching, but when nobody's watching, it probably would behoove most of us to try to do the right thing because it'll come back and bite you in the ass in the long run. Yo, I appreciate everybody who tuned into this video, who took the dive on this indictment with me. Hey, tomorrow we're gonna have some interesting Henyard videos. I might release a few short videos and then just do a long video on Friday because it's been a shit show going on over there in Dalton. And we'll talk about it. Yo, y'all take care. Have a good one. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace.